Welcome back to Funky Politics, the hardest hitting political show on the planet. You know, I believe what that guy just said. It is the hardest hitting political show on the planet. We are the hardest hitting show anywhere. And let's get right into it. We got a lot of information to cover today. Got a very special guest for you as well, too. I'm not going to tell you who it is right now, but we got a very special guest. But let's get it kicking. Senator John Kerry, he said it best. Our foreign policy has been all over the place. I mean, you guys can see it from the Iranian peace to the UAE and Israel. But for some odd reason, 45, he believes that he's clearly in charge of our foreign policy. He believes he's clearly in charge of everything. He's the dictator of the world. But anyway, the overall theme, I think, that Senator Kerry tried to convey to a lot of us who will listen, and then to those who will not listen, is leadership. And I think, let me let you take a listen to this.
Hi, I'm John Kerry. For the 8 years of the Obama-Biden administration, we led by example. We eliminated the threat of an Iran with a nuclear weapon. We built a 68-nation coalition to destroy ISIS. We forged a 195-nation agreement to attack climate change. We stopped Ebola before it became a pandemic. Donald Trump inherited a growing economy and a more peaceful world. And like everything else he inherited, he bankrupted it. When this president goes overseas, it isn't a goodwill mission, it's a blooper reel. He breaks up with our allies and writes love letters to dictators. America deserves a president who is looked up to, not laughed at.
Speaking of looked up to and not laughed at, I think Senator Kerry got it extremely right. This thing has been a blooper reel for 8 years, 3 years, 8 months. Y'all, let me tell you, your decision you make on November 3rd, will be crucial. It will be crucial. I can't say it enough. On to global warming. Another note, global warming is real. People want to say, oh, no, there's no such thing as the earth warming at all. But no, the earth is warming. Our ozone layer is under attack. You don't hear a lot about that on Funky Politics, but we will be getting into a lot of issues regarding global warming because guess what? It's one of those issues that it affects those of us who are in urban areas and those of us who don't have a lot of resources, right? So a lot of us who are under-resourced, we are facing some real tough times with respect to global warming. There's some things that are going on in the western part of our country, California, for instance, Arizona. I want you to take a listen to this right quick and feast your eyes on this. Tell me what you think.
Extreme weather is bringing fire and even ice to the west. Arizona pummeled by hail. In Northern California, a weekend lightning storm ignited more than 100 fires. In drought-stricken Colorado, massive fires have claimed more than 125,000 acres.
Yeah, that's an actual tornado.
And for the first time in history, the National Weather Service warned of fire-induced tornadoes near the Nevada-California border, the blaze creating its own weather system. Tonight, more than 40 million people under heat warnings across 10 states, including Death Valley, California, where the temperature reached 130 degrees, rivaling the hottest temperature ever recorded on the planet.
Speaking of the hottest temperature, I had the fortunate occasion. I drove through Death Valley. I drove through Death Valley here about a couple of months ago, and it was not 130 degrees, but it was pretty hot. I think we as a people, we as a human race, we've got to take global warming a lot more seriously, because if we don't, we will find ourselves in a situation where we're looking for leadership to help us through some pretty traumatic times to come. Again, leadership matters. Leadership matters. And speaking of leadership mattering, Dr. Jill Biden made a case for why her husband needs to be hired as president of these United States and become the 46th president of the United States. This young lady, she came into the life of Joe Biden early on. They had an interesting courtship, as they said they both agreed to, and she took on a relatively new family when she stepped into the role of wife for Joe Biden. She was a teacher, also a college professor. I want to let you just listen to a little bit of what Jill Biden said about how her life started with Joe Biden.
I have always loved the sounds of a classroom. The quiet that sparks with possibility just before students shuffle in. The murmur of ideas bouncing back and forth as we explore the world together. The laughter and tiny moments of surprise you find in materials you've taught a million times. When I taught English here at Brandywine High School, I would spend my summer preparing for the school year about to start, filled with anticipation. But this quiet is heavy. You can hear the anxiety that echoes down empty hallways. There's no scent of new notebooks or freshly waxed floors. The rooms are dark as the bright young faces that should fill them are now confined to boxes on a computer screen.
You know, the rest of that is just wonderful. She made a strong case for why, and I'm being biased. She made a very strong case for why we probably need to change November 3rd. Jill Biden, I think, would be probably the first lady who actually has come out of education in terms of actually teaching on a local level. And so I hope we take this thing seriously November 3rd. I cannot stress that enough. Taking it serious November 3rd, there's an opportunity to make a strong change in our country. And with a first lady like a Jill Biden following our forever first lady, Michelle Obama, man, you can only expect greater things to come for our country, right? In terms of supporting her husband, who would be the 46th president of the United States. Switching around, we're going to talk to Suzanne Coy. We call her Zan, or she's called Zan, here on Funky Politics Today. Suzanne is an actor, producer, coach. She's a graduate of the National Theatre School who happens to be Jamaican born and currently resides in Toronto, Canada. We're going to talk to her about her career, talk to her about acting, talk to her about some of the work that she does right now with workshops she leads, and also about this mission series with children and how we can hopefully get the best out of what we're doing in our lives right now, whether it's through theater, helping our children. But I also want to talk about that $2,000 a month. They're getting $2,000 a month, Canada. Where my money at? Where my check at? But anyway, we'll be right back with more Suzanne Coy, Zan, right here on Funky Politics after the break.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, one and all, to the little show that we like to call Black Nerd Power BNP if you're nasty. I'm your host, Mr. Richard Douglas Jones, and with me, the co-hosts of Black Nerd Power, Mr. Marcus Seaberry.
What's up, my nerd?
Oh, nerd, please. And Ms. Kimber, what's happening, man?
Hi.
All right, first, here is the rage figure.
I love his helmet.
Talking about escapism and like, yo, I'm mad, but I'm tired. Like, is it okay that, like, if instead of going out to protest tonight, I want to sit and watch a movie? I'm just like, hell yeah, it's fine.
A quote unquote woke romance that features a character that's not being like objectified for her body, that does not necessarily mean that book will not have sex in it.
And I think on that note, we're going to end the show.
Katsukian. Download the Katsukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Hey, we're back, and look who we have. Hey, Zan, how are you?
Divine. How I going? How you doing there in Memphis?
Whoa, look at you. Hey, doing fantastic. How are you doing in Toronto?
Hey, it's nice and sunny today.
Nice and sunny? Okay, great. I want to get right into it. I want people to know who Suzanne Coy is, who Zan is. Let's talk a little bit about your career, how you got started in the space you're in now, but you're not just from Toronto. You've got some Jamaican in you, correct?
Born Jamaican. My parents are both Jamaican. And, and it doesn't matter, it's all part of the African diaspora, as you know, and it's time for us to stop all that division,
Sure.
and really make the changes we have to make as a race, and it's all about our state of consciousness.
I agree with you completely. And I read where you came from. Your family moved from Jamaica to I think right outside Edmonton. I think it was
Right.
there in Canada, and you had a little bit of some issues going on there as a youngster.
Well, Jamaicans all Black culture is very similar.
Sure.
We're raised by the village, and my grandmother was very animated. I remember I was a very sensitive kid. So if I fell on the sidewalk, she'd go in the house. She knew, otherwise I'd be crying for 4 hours. She'd come out and she start beating the sidewalk with a strap. Why you make her fall down? Why you make her fall down? Why you make her? And I'm like, wow, shocked out of my crying. And I'm knowing that everything's alive. I want to be an advocate for the sidewalk. I asked the grass permission to walk on its back. And I'm in this unity consciousness where I know everything's loving me and everything's teaching me and everything's blessing me. And I'm singing in ecstasy, because God is my best friend and it's everything that I see. So I had that kind of view. And I also, had a very thick patois dialect. My father was what you call a busha in the sugar fields. And so, it was a culture shock to come to Athabasca. Now they thought about this move 90 miles north of Edmonton. That's the way that Canadian racism would work at the time. They try to be nice about it. They say, oh, well, we don't think you want to live here because it's too cold. And that was just the way they just blocked out Black people from coming to the country. And then they just put you in some remote place, which is, even polar bears don't live there.
Whoa.
And they're white and they don't have an accent. No, but it goes to like minus 60 below. So that's like a culture shock. So I get there. They thought about this move. And my older brother and sister, they're there with my parents. And I land fresh off the boat, and I'm in catechism in summer Catholic school. And the nun is like, an albino lizard woman. And she's like, does anyone have a prayer? So I'm like, me teacher, me teacher, me teacher, me teacher. Because, we love to learn, right?
Yeah, that's right.
She thinks I'm having an epileptic fit. She says, my God, why in heaven's name are you snapping your fingers like that? So I give her the West Indian explanation, which goes over her head. There's a thing called flinging your fingers.
Yes.
Now, if you can't do this, you're born in Jamaica, it's really a birth defect because you need it. In a cricket game, you have to say, Goddess Starkey, murder. It's an expression that's just necessary.
Wow.
Now, if you can't fling your fingers and it makes it sound louder than a clap, you have to go for the snapping. So she's asking me why I'm snapping my fingers. She thinks I'm having epileptic fit. I say, come here, can't go like this. So I have to admit my birth defect, and that does not make sense to her.
It didn't go well with her, does it? So no, I want to stop you right there. That patois. What? Let me hear a little bit of that. What does that sound like to those of us who are from the South and we don't know what that patois dialect sounds like?
Well, them have words from the Ashanti tribe, right?
Oh.
So they have so like fe una picnic a too gravelicious. That means your kids, because picnic, it means kid in the Twi language of the Ashanti, and fiuno is how they would say it. So it's in there, and we've been shamed about that because it's associated with being African, being whatever, the subhuman state of slavery until Miss Lou came along, and even Bob Marley was singing like a white man, because they've imposed like this English culture until Miss Lou gave permission. It's okay to, as they say, chat bad, and so it's a wonderful kind of sound because it's all like onomatopoeia, like
it's so natural. It's so the origin is the land, right? It's your out of your belly.
So it has bits of that the Ashanti tribe Twi language, but it's English. Just like there's some places where some people don't understand people from Chicago, like the dialect is different, but Miss Lou made it something proud. I'm doing a documentary about her too. She's kind of like the mother of hip hop, the mother of rap, the mother of it all, and so she's the one who inspired Bob Marley to sing in patois, and she would have poems like me have a sus for you. So sus is like, I'm whispering gossip to you. Me have a sus for you. You remember Longmouth Doris? So Longmouth Doris, her lips were extra long. They hung down, She used to sit there with John. She used to go out with John. Him used to mind her well. You see, him was a good man. But she just sit down there. What? Let's make him sweep salt her on. Me tell her say you can't let man loose, except you sure you have him. For as you wink your eye, another woman definitely grab him. Do you understand?
Wow.
If you can't. Did you understand what I said?
Yes, I know. So
Yeah,
another woman that you're gonna grab him. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, you can shake man hand, but you not shake them heart. You one man can sweet today and tomorrow part. So me tell her say, I'll stay with me. So this is like Obia, right? Obia is like it's got the roots in voodoo and all that, but it's like herbal formula. So Obia, she would take an oil of stay with me, right? This is what she's saying. I'll stay with me, rubbing him head. If you put this oil in his head,
you won't be going anywhere.
Yeah, and then you can't leave him till you're dead. And she's like, oh, I couldn't take him money to Obia him, because him is the first man ever said him love me out. So she's not gonna use his money to put like a witchcraft. Anyway, so she's hysterical. She had all kinds of and she was a big like earth mama.
Yes.
She was an incredible woman, but she really is the originator of rap, of hip hop, of reggae, of all of it. And she had that, she'd have those sayings like walk good. That says it all. Walk good. And we need that culture right now, because in Jamaica, they're so hot-headed. I mean, you can spill a drink on another man and poops, gun pop out, Like we've lost that.
That sounds like America. Sounds like, well, that's right here in the U.S. now. Right here in the absolute U.S.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to our ability to communicate non-violently? That's why I love Marshall Rosenberg with his nonviolent communication. And let's find a way to talk about needs and wants and feelings, not doing judgments and evaluations. And the other favorite thing when it comes to politics that I love is what Harold Klemp says. He says, don't ask for equality. Don't ask for equality. Ask for spiritual freedom. Claim your spiritual freedom. Because if I'm asking you for equality, then I already decided I don't have it and I'm a beggar and I'm a victim and you got it and I got to get it. And what state of consciousness is that? That's not thinking from the end. No. You know what I'm saying? Because I just think we have to get out of slavery. We all.
I want to stop you right there. You said getting out of slavery, but I want to take you from one part of the world to this other part of the world in Canada, even though you were, 7 years old.
Yeah.
But you leave a climate that is seasonal, that's beautiful, that's, other than the hurricanes, you're in an area that is, probably the coldest it gets in the wintertime, maybe 70. But now all of a sudden you're in a place, you said below 60 below. What about the change?
It was a culture shock. It was like, but it wasn't only that. It was like, it's the ugly duckling experience. I was not fitting in, not just because of my sound, but we were the only Black people, in the town. I don't have a white parent. I have 2 Black parents. Yes. It's just everybody comes out every shade.
Different. Yeah, different. That's right. My sister now, same way.
Jamaica, it's funny that way, right? It's like out of many, one. So you might have somebody who looks Chinese, but I'm going chat patwa to you. They have Chinese eyes, they got an African butt, and they're just all Jamaican. But more than that, we know we're also, we're African. And there's that thing, there's that shadism everywhere. Because I call it the sodomization of colonization. When you have those certain, upper class Jamaicans and they're like, oh my dear, but you have good hair.
Yes.
Like, what are you saying? You saying that the kinky African
hair? Yeah,
and oh, what a nice complexion. And what is your mix? And I say to them, me nah know about you, but me's a Black woman still. You is clearly I think you're white woman. And I we just got to get over it. I can't get over Black people, hating Black people. And my friend, all shades of ebony. And his mother would say, who's also ebony, anything too Black is no good. Like, what? You just said that to your son. Did you notice now he's putting bleach on his skin? What are you saying? So
Well, funny you say that. Now, Kamala Harris, who is a junior senator from Canada, we're dealing with that now, even in our own culture. She was just chosen a couple of weeks ago as the vice presidential running mate for Vice President Biden, and one of the main things that came out in social media from us was, oh well, she's really not black. She's Jamaican and she is Indian.
Jamaican is black.
As though Jamaica is from some foreign country that we have. We all transferred down.
All part of the African diaspora. We're all from Ghana and
sure,
the,
that's
you
right.
know. And the thing is, we have all that divisiveness. Like you have you have Jamaicans who don't like Trinidadians, and you have the West Indians, and they don't like the Canadian blacks, and then they got a problem with the American black. No, we got to just stop all that, and maybe we just got to have a higher identity. We just have to say, "Hey, I'm soul."
But you do know. I mean, that's that stratification that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
in terms of shades. I'm darker, you're lighter, but guess what? When you open your mouth, I know where you come from. Now you're Jamaican, right? But I know that we're part of that same family that came out of that continent that a lot of folks don't want to talk about no more. That's still there, and that's rich with what? Nothing but culture, diamonds, gold, oil, everything.
You know how Europe underdeveloped Africa, sure. and they
It's amazing.
And Jamaica at one point, when it gained independence from England, their dollar was strong as the pound. It was stronger than the American dollar or the Canadian dollar. And then slowly, they come in with the debt. And I remember when the Americans came in and all the cow milk was getting thrown in the garbage because they brought powdered milk in a box that was cheaper. But they just do that where they underdevelop the place where we'll take your bauxite and then we'll sell you back aluminum for, 100 times the price. And so that divisive kind of feudal. Are we still feudal? I think we're still feudal. I don't think we've hit democracy.
The colonization. The colonization, and then, well, I'm going to introduce democracy to your country. Now, whether you want to be a democratic society or not, it matters not to me. I've seen some that are socialist societies done extremely well. Some communist countries have done well, but no, we've got to introduce democracy to you. And that's a whole nother.
Do we really have democracy, or do we just have a corporate elite?
Bam.
That's
Bam.
right.
Bam. There you go.
Which is just feudal. We haven't left the 1600s because we need a new identity. I don't know if we want to blame Descartes with, I think, therefore I am, which was the cornerstone of the industrial age. Like somehow we inherit the earth and so we destroy it. I mean, we got to go back to some Aboriginal roots where we had a respect for all life and we had an interbeingness. I can't win if you lose. That's against nature. Like, we need some kind of.
I think we believe if it's not modern or if it's not technology driven, then it's got to be bad. But there was something, as you spoke a minute ago, about the cows, the dairy cows. But I brought you powdered milk. No, the dairy cows are fine, right? The dairy cow farming is fine. Now, some of those things are still good. But of course, we've gotten up here now, Zan, and we ain't got to do that little stuff anymore, right? We're bigger than that.
But we got glyphosate and we got the Monsanto and we got, and that's going to be the new DDT. And we got, and are there any health food stores in Black neighborhoods? I don't know.
Hadn't seen it in the South. No, they're not.
No. You know what? So there's, there's a way to do it. There's a way to, I have a friend who's created waste. We shouldn't even call it garbage because it's raw material. And he from garbage makes oil, gas, electricity. Why aren't we doing stuff like that? We can find things, find things that work in harmony.
But you know what it does though? It attacks the oil industry. It attacks the gas industry, and that's a whole nother story. Canadian life, real quick. Canadian life. I know we got to really go a lot of subjects. Quebec and Montreal. I mean, this French influence, and that's one of the things I'm concerned about. So, as Americans who are just basically English speakers, most of us English speakers, we were to move to either one of those places, Montreal. All of a sudden, we have to have some type of education in French to be able to kind of do business a little bit, right?
Well, Yeah, but the French are real. But yeah, they used to really have like a language police. I remember doing this feature film, and it was funny. It was a Black American feature film. A famous singer. Oh God, what's her name? I'm going to remember.
Billie Holiday,
No,
Sarah Vaughan.
Billie Holiday. No, it was a modern singer. She was the
Oh,
star.
okay.
A modern young singer. She was the star, and it's going to come back to me. But anyway, we so the executive producers were Black American, Southern Black American,
Yeah.
and the first AD was Black, French, Canadian, right? So what I found fascinating, this was way back when they had language police and they were more uptight about it, was the Americans. They're listening on the intercom, right, to all this French because the crew is talking in French, and so they innocently say, "Damn, he did talk English, gee, it's Christ Almighty, can y'all just talk freaking English?" Mistake. There was a bit of a strike. The crew said that because of that comment that they stopped production. Can you believe this? They stopped production.
Ooh.
And what was fascinating to me was I thought, well, this is a Black woman, so she's going to be with us Black people. But no, she was French first somehow, and she also walked off the set. So we all got paid for nothing. But that was like 10, 15 years ago. I think it's changed now. You can, you will like a French people because they're just real. They're just like, if they like you, they like you. If they, you know what I mean? They got passion like Black people. So I don't think it has to be a problem. I used to just, when I was going to school there, whatever you would say in French, I would just absolutely mimic and repeat you. So they just thought I was listening really well. If you have a curiosity, if you've got a heart where you want to connect, I don't think even language matters. Do you know what I mean?
It's not a barrier anymore. In other words, right?
And the weird thing is, after a while, I could kind of understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. I'm passionate about unity and diversity. So if I see somebody with a turban, who's Sikh, I'll go up to them and I'll say, Sat Sri Akal, which means God is truth, which is Urdu. And then they're so amazed, but that's my passion, to honor and celebrate whoever you are. Let's find the unity in diversity,
That's a caring person though, because you care that and the respect. And we're not going to talk about what happens in the U.S., but anyway, we're going to because I think a lot of that is what we've lost in our country right now. And I'm not going to beat up on America because I think it's still the greatest place in the world to live. You may say Canada is, but I believe America is the greatest place to live. But I also believe we have so many things that we've got to fix. We've got to fix because we call ourselves the passion police. We call ourselves the conscience of the world. No, not America. Not America. Can't be the conscience of the world.
Well, but we can, come out of that genocide history just as a people, and we can reclaim our Black mystery, and we can, I got a poem about that, which, we can get into later, but did we want to talk about the show?
Well, we're going to talk about the show. I want to go a little bit about, I want to talk about COVID-19, how that's affected your work. How that's affected the world of theater, has affected acting in and of itself, especially in the space in Canada where you find yourself at right now.
Yeah, well, we had to do a COVID shoot, and but here's the scary thing, even more than COVID, which I just think the whole thing is a virus of fear. I'm not going to get into all those theories, but I think it's a spiritual initiation time. Either we're just going to submit to being overwhelmed by fear. But I just think reality is made by where you place your attention, so it's a crucial time right now. And people are but it's like the Twilight Zone. What can I say? And I think social distancing is the two words that have destroyed. This isn't the crash of, this isn't 2011. This is a complete pulverizing of the world economy, whole industries, the airport industries. It's just in the name of social distancing. And this, what's happened? Skyrocketing domestic violence right now. Children are home with molesters. The mental health issues off the charts. off the charts. And as parents, parents are afraid because their kids are even more addicted to the screens and what to do and where can they find places to just share how they're feeling.
Suzanne, are you advocating that maybe this COVID-19, this pandemic that we are that a lot of us are, well, most of us realize, are you saying that it is not the 800-pound gorilla out there that's crushing us? There's something to this. I mean, I'm following you here, but it seems like that you're not denying it, but it appears. And I want to give you an opportunity.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I got you. And a lot of people do, because one time they told us it only affects people with comorbidities and it only affects the elderly, but now all of a sudden it affects children.
Well, what is affecting children is the social distancing, sure. Everybody having to stay at home, and what it's doing to mental health, what it's doing, the numbers are insane with the domestic violence and it's just, people have a lot of questions. I mean, I'm not going to get into all that, but there's a lot of, I question the effectiveness of mask wearing. I don't know if that's so great to do. I don't know. It used to be you quarantined the people who were sick. This is just unreal what's happening right now. And I just wonder about, other agendas. And then I just wonder about what to tell, students and young people when they are just feeling victimized between the COVID fears and the social distancing isolation. I always get back to, well, what can you do? Yeah. Where is your attention? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And how is the universe bigger than whatever's happening? How is this provocation just another invitation to have a deeper unity with life? And how is this a spiritual experience? How is this something for us, not to us? I don't like the viewpoint that why is this happening to me? Sure. Because I'm gonna get imprisoned there. You know what I mean? I like but it's where my mother is, 39 deaths.
Wow.
No, in the nursing home, and I don't know, 110 people who had it. My mother didn't. Wow. And, so for 5 months, I couldn't see my mother. I used to see her 1 to 4 hours a day. And then when I saw her, I had to get a COVID-19 test, and then I can't touch her. I can't. I do energy medicine. I'm a practitioner, so I wanted to do some, to do a little treatment on her. I got called out. No, you got to stay 6 feet away. It's just like, what's going on? What is this Twilight?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. There are so many uncertainties about exactly what is this that we and the scientists don't know.
No, and I just wonder about the WHO. I wonder about vaccinations with.
Oh wow.
Microchip. I got a lot of questions.
You got a lot of questions, and you know what? You have some of the same questions that I think people around the world have, right? You have a lot of questions, and I think the scientific community, I think leadership owes us a lot of answers. Yeah, when do we get those answers?
I would like to know. I don't know, because he is like something sinister out of a Star Trek movie. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I got
questions. You got questions.
I got questions because it's just too interesting. Who is getting struck? I just wonder.
Well, and speaking of questions, I got a couple for you. You're the founder and CEO of Act from the Heart. I want to talk about your preparation of that next generation or the current generation of actors and actresses, and how is that coming along? And what do I get when I come to you? What do you help me realize in terms of my belief that this world is but a stage, and I'm here to get paid. I'm here to get paid. Now, tell me, Zan, how do I get paid for all of this?
Well, I think my view is from ancient times, where actors were the griots, the African griots. That's how Alex Haley found his roots. He found a griot, and they were the shamans, and they could travel in two different worlds. So I'm not about we're having this little, what can I call it? Psychotic egoism sometimes in Hollywood, where the artist is just part of consumerism and promoting stereotypes we need to debunk and promoting greed on the planet. And for me, it's not that. It's a sacred thing. It's about committing to be a conscious being who is serving all life and being a co-worker, with life and looking at our own shadows. And it's almost like a prayerful offering to the community to move us forward from where we're stuck, because the actor is like who we are as soul. You can enter any perception, but don't get imprisoned there, because all this karmic stuff that's playing out, they're just like dead flows. It's like a big old blockbuster movie station starring all of some bad reality shows called I'm Not Good Enough, I'm Not Safe to Be a Woman on the Planet or a Black person on the planet. And if I play that, if I put my divine attention and I put in that video in my mind, that's the reality I'm going to live. So I'm about freedom. I'm about how do we stop the mental emotional slavery that we agree to, and how do we change our consciousness? How do we expand so that we can be unified with whatever you want to call it, the resounding thing, the Holy Spirit? It's beyond
whatever that is,
religious dogma for sure, but it is life. And how do we be like George Washington Carver, and he would have those walks every day with God, and then he saved the South, with his 300 inventions of peanut, including peanut butter. But I mean, you know what I mean? And people, and then white people just tried to take advantage. Oh, you're not going to patent it. I'm going to.
Yeah.
So so what I'm about is celebrating that you are a genius in some way. So how do I help you celebrate the genius you are and make a bridge for you to contribute that to the world?
So is that transformation? Is that a transformative style? Is that okay?
I think my approach is, I have a thing about the new star system where, you learn about being grounded, about listening, about some principles that will make you a brilliant actor, but also just make you who you are. Sure. So it's not about, for me, acting is not about being 1,000 other people. It's about authentically being yourself and being real. And learning how to work with emotions and learning how to just, have freedom, and how to, because all stories, are like Joseph Campbell said, it's the hero's journey, right? It's to say, he kind of depicted the plot structure of every story, that there's a hero who is invited or pushed into adventure that they might resist. If you take like Luke Skywalker, and that's why that series is brilliant, because he worked with that was his best friend, right? Yeah. So he worked and influenced that story. And so you're called to adventure and you might refuse it. What did Skywalker said? No, I got to be potato farming. And then the farm burns down. And then along the way, so then he takes that journey of adventure. Along the way, you have threshold guardians and you have people like Yoda. And then you meet supreme challenges where you face off, you have to face yourself, you have to face your dark side, and you overcome. And that story is told in every religion and every culture. That's the hero's journey. And I think that's what, acting is about, is also, it's a mirror universe. So if you're playing a part, what can you learn? Sure. Maybe you have to learn to play the fiddle, but maybe you'll have to learn to face that shadow part of yourself. And so it's like the dream state where you can work out karmic things and it doesn't cost you, like I'd rather have a car accident in the dream state than in real life. It'll be less wear and tear. You know what I mean? And so story is a way where we can work things out and we can inspire and touch the hearts of others. So I think of it as a community service.
So is this teaching? These are workshops. These are classes. Is this something is it community based? Is it one of those things you
I
do?
always volunteered in the community to
Oh, wow.
teach life skills through creativity. And one of my greatest, where I actually became a community consultant under Omawali Satterwright, and he's one of the greatest leaders of all Black leaders of all time. He actually developed the city of East Palo Alto
Yes.
through civic engagement. And, and he used to say that in the 60s, you had like 1,000 people in 10 places, but now you have, 10 people in 1,000 places. And that it's not a movement led by personality anymore, but it's how to build the infrastructure. And he specialized in building capacity in communities that were crippled by racism and poverty. And he did it through civic engagement. He did it not by being an expert, by coming in and facilitating the community wisdom. And then the Skillman Foundation, they actually gave him 60% of all their funding to go and find like 10 neighborhoods in Detroit, the ones that were the most ever overcome with, suicide and teenage pregnancy and violence. And then he engaged all the stakeholders, the police, the elders, the youth,
Brought everybody to the table.
churches,
Everybody came to the table.
and they created this, over a 10-year period. They did his capacity building, and it's incredible. It's incredible the work that's somebody you got to have on your show. I mean,
And no doubt, you get a lot of that passion that the work, like you just said, from him, right? And so, but do you find it easier? And I don't know how to compare this, because I don't know if you've done this with American in urban cities in America, but how easy is that work in your space there?
Well,
in Toronto versus you would think it would be like in the South, maybe in a Memphis or in a Birmingham, Alabama, where you're dealing with large tracts of underserved, impoverished people, but still have a dream, a hope. We have so many budding actresses and actors and performers and singers and dancers, but they've not been offered a stage. What happens to those folks?
And you want it. You just like, I just met somebody I'm going to put in our show, Jasmine Headley. She's 7 years old. And in the Black Lives Matter marches, she went up to the police and sang them a song that she wrote about 7 years old. This girl shines so bright.
Wow.
She could light up 10 universes. And my thought was, I want to do everything to help her not to lose that shine, little Black girl. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And not to have that cut down. I mean, she's incredible. And they're and gifted. She's 7. She's going into grade 3. Wow. And she's got 2 strong parents, and they both work with. She has a 12-year-old brother, and her parents both work in mental health. They work with the worst. They work with the pedophiles and the criminals. And these kids just want to know how to help. And her 12-year-old son, for his birthday, what he's doing, he's charging people to come to his party, because he's now become a advocate for raising money for sick kids. And he's selling T-shirts for his birthday. These, if you see these 2 parents, they're so in love after 20 years, and they're just a team, and they're all about their kids. And I'm like, oh my God, what an example, for our community. And that's what you see. You see their children are just brilliant. They haven't lost that
so many of our Black
knowing that they can have their dreams. You know what I mean? That's what we're here to do is to live your dream of how you're going to serve all life. And and I think in these times where we have this shadow of fear looming to capture our creative imagination, I think now more than ever, it's really time to decide where we place our divine attention and how we therefore shape the reality we want to claim. And in such tumultuous times with so many kids that are so glued to the screen, I'm really proud to be part of a brand that offers parents a wonderful option in the vast sea of streams.
That's
And
where I want to go. And I think I know where you're going.
Mission
And that is,
Bonita, you know what I
that's
mean?
Mission Bonita. Mission.
They
I want to
provide
go there.
creative solutions to problem solving while thoroughly entertaining young audiences with extraordinary characters that move seamlessly between fantasy world and the everyday reality. It's kind of like the magic school bus of emotional intelligence and mental health for kids. We could play some of it. I sent you
We're going to do that. And that's why I wanted to. I want to set it up though. I want to talk about that work that you're doing because not only are you trying to work with those budding actresses and actors and thespians and all over the world, but now this new piece, this 6 to 10, these youngsters, as you're talking about this third grader here, what was the impetus to say, look, I'm gonna go here, I'm going there, I'm gonna go there?
Okay, well, about 9 years ago, Michaela Laluz walked into my classroom, and she's 23 now. She's the young writer and director of this episode, and I was her mentor. I found places for her to work on independent films behind the scenes. I had her talking to directors. I had her hosting. I just threw her in for all kinds of training that I just provided her opportunities, found her a top agent. And, she went and also studied production. And now she's 23. And this series, Mission Bonita, is based on books that her mother wrote. And her mother has become, one of my best friends. Her mother, Lisa Laluz, is a brilliant, prolific social worker, maybe like one or two classes away from her master's. And she created this as a way from way back, these characters, way back when she was working in a daycare, and she wanted to talk about heavy issues with kids, but in a fun way. Sure. And when kids wanted to talk about feelings, she would pull out this bear, which is one of the things, and Comfy Bear is one of the characters and is one of the products that is part of our merchandising. And okay, so tell all your bad feelings to the bear, so you have a place to take out your anger. And then so her books are wonderful. Her books touch the heart of kids, and they deal with heavy subjects. So how do you deal with the heaviest subjects, but in fun ways? So like when we go to a school, there's a built-in formula there. Because the first thing that happens is Miss Bonita, who's a 17-year-old character, comes out and she's received a letter from her magic message box from a kid somewhere in the world that has a problem. So she'll go to the school and she'll ask all those kids, can you help me to solve, Tammy's problem? And the kids will form into little groups of 4 and 5, and they'll come up with solutions. Well, these are the solutions, because before we do the show there, we want to kind of know what is the biggest problem that this group of kids are having. So it's something that they can relate to. So they learn, to talk about the problem, first of all, and then, come up with creative solutions. So whether it's bullying, or my brother's in jail, or my grandpa died, or any heavy issue. Now with the series, with the web series, we've taken it even further with the funds, because we have these other characters like Momo, the game show guy, and so he'll have a game show about the virus. He'll have a game show. It's so he's wacky and kind of like a crazy game show host.
Yeah.
One character. And then we have, the character I play, May the Mystique. She kind of represents, the mother wisdom from Africa and from aunties and grandparents. And she's always giving the kids, you have a choice. Do you hang with Miss Bonita where it's nice and bright, or do you go with the evil king? Meaning that's when we want to get into complaining, and we want to, stay on Grumpy Butt Radio.
I like Grumpy Butt Radio. I like that.
Grumpy, that's my turn. That's what I say to my God kids. Do you want to be on Grumpy Butt Radio, or do you want to be on Love Radio? You choose the frequency. But there's like karmic consequences, because if you put it out there, if they start behaving bad or fighting, I say, you guys are pooping in the living room. What vibe are you putting out there? And that shocks them. The kids. Yeah.
It just shocked me.
Yeah, I know, right? And so then I say, okay, let's have a karma break. How can we get back on harmony? How can we, what can we do?
This all seems like that your life has become this huge life coach of such. I mean, I don't know, or spiritual coach. I mean, it seems like you're just a coach right now. You played the game a lot, and you've excelled at it so much that now before you go up to the owner's box, you're coaching, and that's what I'm getting out of this right now. Is that there's
That
some
probably started like way back when I was 7 years old.
probably so.
And my sister was born in Canada. Now I was one of the few people who never wanted to be white. I was cemented in an identity of being African. But my sister, she was born in Canada, and I didn't want her to be, struck down with that kind of racism that I experienced every day, being called nigger every day or whatever, and that's, so I created this homeschool, where the idea that life loves you, and life is an adventure, and learning is an adventure. And we'd go on nature walks or whatever, Then when I was 11, I was a psychiatrist. I had clients. And they called me
I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to take a minute to take a look at what you prepare for us.
Okay.
Let me get my folks to get ready to cue us up. So listeners and viewers, here we go.
Do we have the sound?
Looks nice.
Can we hear the sound?
Hold on 1 second there. When you're dealing in audio and visual and all of that, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Give me just a moment or two. But while we're getting it queued up, I want to make sure that our audience has a real good feel for. Number one, you're not in the States, so we can't just we can't expatriate you because that passion I feel that you have for the children's series, but also for I just get this coaching theme is in my brain here, and I don't know if that's where you're going further with this, or is it still this? I'm still an actress, I'm still an actor when it's all, and this world is still a stage, but. Is that where you're trying to get to from a full-time perspective of saying, hey, look, I think from a perspective of not a spiritual coach, maybe just a life coach of sorts?
Well, I mean, I've been an acting coach for 20 years of writing and directing for kids, and creating, comedy. I like to create comedy that looks at the juxtaposition of being soul, this divine being, and then being caught in the ego. And that's what makes me laugh,
Isn't that something? I love to laugh. And my producer said we're ready to go. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go right to the video. Okay.
Guys, is this recording? Hello? We don't have much time left. Actually, we do because no one's here to cut. No, that's the finish. Happy birthday, dear Mo. Come on. Oh, but that's the thing. I've been stuck under the spell of fear. It's been 24 hours. Lisa's too scared to write any more of the story.
That's the author.
Are sleeping. And will Miss Bonita ever stop scratching her armpit? No. Oh, Lisa, Philip, and Jesse too. The Mystic is here for you. And don't forget the guy with the guitar. Getting ready to do his job.
Take the first step, maybe a few more. Let us see where your feet will lead you. Will it lead you to Miss Bonita's house? Over the meadow and to the right where it's nice and bright? Or will it lead you to the evil king? The choice is yours. What will you choose today?
know what a ukulele is? A ukulele is the member of the guitar family. I'm just here practicing and learning. I'm not really good right now, but I'm enjoying just learning. Da, 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 da. You know what that means. It's a message from my magical message box. Any kid, anywhere that might be having a problem, they can send it to me, and I'll get the help of my magical friends to help me solve it. So, let's see what the problem is today. Dear Miss Bonita, my name is Jaden, and I'm 10. I'm writing to you because you said you can help kids with problems. I have a really big one that I don't think you can help me with. There's a bad virus, and my grandfather has it, and he's in the hospital. I'm scared that he won't get any better, and everyone in my family doesn't want to catch the virus. What do I do? Oh no!
What up, Jess?
Hi, Philip.
Whoa! This place is so cool. Your mom lets you chill here? This place is awesome.
Don't touch that, please.
Right. Anyway, you know, I'm gonna be like a singer one day, just in case your mom's like casting. But like, you know. Whoa! Who's that?
That's Miss Bonita.
Ooh, Miss Bonita. Can I ask her for ice cream?
Really? She's kind of like special.
Special? Like she only dates smart guys?
Special like she's from a different universe.
Like she's from LA?
Or like a complete and alternate magical universe where the only way to gain access is through wanting to help other people.
Ooh, gotcha. Challenge accepted.
Wow, a virus. I'm gonna need some advice from my friends to see how to help Jaden solve his problem.
Welcome back to Momo Game Show, or Game Time with Momo, or Game Mo, or Mogo, I don't know. Anyways, it's me, and we're back. And today we are playing Virus Trivia! Woo! All right, I'm going to ask you a question, and you give me the best answer you can. And if you yell loud enough, I just might hear you. Are you ready? Okay, here's the question. What is the best thing to do to protect yourself?
You something. I want to make sure before we get out of here that you let everybody know where they can go to take in this Mission Bonita piece, because just I looked at some of it last night and just saw some again today in the studio. I mean, that's just great work. I mean, that's great work, and I think that's what I'm talking about. How do we help our young people get from this space right now, that loneliness, of that not having any socialization right now with their friends at all. And a lot of them are going back to school. Some are going back to school, but a lot are at home still, right? And some have not seen grandma, granddad, like you said, you hadn't seen your mom in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. And that's how, I mean, I'd like to say another word, but then of course, it's, I could say it, but the bottom line to it though is our children. There's a mental health gap, I think, somewhere. We're talking about COVID money all over the country, all over the world, but there needs to be some dollars invested in mental health care, because a lot of folks are really, really, really hurting out there.
Yeah, it's skyrocketing. Well, I mean, if you just go on YouTube and put in "The King Put Us Under a Spell," then the first episode will come up. Or if you go on our YouTube channel, Miss Bonita and Friends. .com or Mission Bonita, you can find the show. We have more episodes coming, and there's things embedded within the show that are tools and techniques. Like one of the things like my character will come up with is, how you break this, because the king at the end of the show puts everybody under a spell of fear, and you see some people falling asleep, some people just going into a complete state of anxiety, and inaction, and the one solution that my character comes up with is laugh for no reason. Getting the audience to laugh for no reason, and that'll break the spell of fear. So yeah, what do we do? It's
like sing Sing like nobody's watching or listening. Just do a dance like nobody's watching. I mean, just get out and do the crazy dance. You know,
Yeah, do it.
we got to teach our children. We got to teach our adults, because there's some adults out there that are probably at their wits' end. Right, they're at their wits' end because of this.
Yes, and I think getting outside in nature,
Sure.
that's part of getting grounded. And I mean, I'm an energy medicine practitioner, so there's a lot of free techniques that Donna Eden gives. If you put Donna Eden daily energy routine, she'll walk you through. Or another time, I'll come back and we'll do a whole 10-minute routine of what
Sure.
you can do just to change your energy, because really we're just a matrix of energy, and when we can shift our energy and we can get things to flow in our being, it can help you change your state of consciousness. It can help you because all of your organs, all of your meridians are related to emotions, right? So if you can get them in balance, it's a good thing to do. You can learn to manage your energy, to, if you're scattered, what to do to get focused, what to do if you have a tension headache, what to do if you find yourself in anxiety and fear. There's things you can do. If you're in fear, you can just put one hand on your forehead, one hand on the back, and that rebalances the water element in your body, which is when it's out of balance. When kidneys out of balance, it's fear. And there's just simple things you can do, and you will feel the shift, and I think we've got to have some resources to not just be under the tyranny of this fear, and not just as I would say to my God kids, you don't want to feed the fear monster that feeds on fear and rage. You gotta do something else. You got to find a way to generate joy within your own person. And then that absolutely can change your circumstance. If you change your state of consciousness, you can change everything.
I like that. And with that, we throw the arm up to Grumpy Bear, and we tell Grumpy Bear to get the hell out. And with that note, I think we're gonna get the hell out. Zan, thank you so much for stopping by the studio here on Funky Politics. We've had a wonderful conversation. Love to get you back and actually go through some of your. I want to see your stuff. So what we'll do is we'll get you back on here real soon. And do some more, have some more fun times with you. I will. Yes. I can tell that you got it in you, sister. You got me laughing over here. I'm like, this woman we got to do a show. She can't have me laugh. But anyway, thank you so much for being on Funky Politics. Funky Politics. Come back and see us again, will you?
I will. I definitely will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll be right back with just a couple of closing thoughts.
Okay.
With network marketing, it's pretty much, especially because you're running a business under someone else's company.
Yeah.
So, it's difficult to get into vending shows and trade shows. You can only have one of, your particular business at shows. So that was a huge difficulty.
So we're getting some of the nitty gritty for the grind set audience about network marketing. Huh?
Right. Hey, Kazukian fans, it's Cynthia Daniels, host of Grind Set, and you don't want to miss our next show. We hope you have the Kazukian app downloaded so you'll be ready for what's about to drop.
Kazukian. Check out all your Kazukian favorites now. Download the Kazukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Hey, this wouldn't be Funky Politics if we didn't have different opinions, different thoughts, and a lot of extra thought leaders that come in, not only from our country, but hey, we got a friend now from old Canada now. Suzanne Coy. You got to make sure that you check her out. This woman is wonderful. I just love her energy. I love the energy she gives off. And so having her here on Funky Politics today was just a wonder, and it's amazing. And make sure you check on your children. I mean, some are going back to school. I know there's some that are at home, and parents, I know you're just going through hell right now. At some point, I promise you, this thing will be over. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it together. And I've got a daughter at Tennessee State, Nashville, and I'm fearing every day as universities start to close down because of some of the spread. And I just tell her to be careful, go with God and be careful is all we can do. And look, other than that, wash your damn hands, wear your mask, Stay socially distant as much as you possibly can, and hopefully we'll get this spread down, and we'll be able to come back out here one day and shoot ball together, shoot pool together, or just shoot the stuff with each other, right? I am DC, and you've been with me here on Funky Politics, and we'll see you again here at the very next time.